welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, and in today's video we're going to be previewing the upcoming Premier League fixture between Everton and Fulham at Goodison Park. Obviously the game is tomorrow, Saturday, 3 o'clock. Fantastic. Thank God for a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff. Absolutely sick of these Sunday kickoffs at 4 o'clock and all this stupid TV nonsense. So the game is back at Goodison 3 o'clock tomorrow. It's a must-win game for me, to be honest. I think Everton need to get the 3 points out of this game. Obviously we're coming off the back of a few disappointing results, disappointing performances against West Ham and Huddersfield. Obviously the performance was a lot better, a lot more reassuring against Arsenal, but we still didn't come away with anything. We come away with a defeat because we didn't take our chances. So obviously we're looking to try and rectify them and obviously get the victory this weekend. It's definitely possible. We definitely can get the win, and we should get the win, to be honest. Now Marco Silva has had his pre-match press conference this afternoon, and he has confirmed a couple of things that we had heard in the news reports. Now there was a report yesterday night that Yerry Mina has suffered or had suffered a fracture in his 4th metatarsal of his left foot. That was going to see him sidelined for around 3 to 4 weeks. The report actually stated he was on crutches. Obviously very disappointed about that. That has been since cleared up today. It's been cleared up by the Echo, as well as Marco Silva himself, who've said that it is not a fracture, it's not a break at all, it's just a minor setback, and it should see Yerry Mina back in training next week at some point. Obviously it's still disappointing. I expected to see Mina in some capacity this weekend against Fulham, whether that be starting or on the bench. Obviously I wanted to see him against Arsenal as well, and I thought that that was a possibility, but it's not to be. Mina is still going to be sidelined and has obviously taken a knock, and it's set him back a week or so in his training. Not as bad as it was feared last night, but still a little bit disappointing to see Yerry Mina's debut in the Royal Blue shirt postponed again. In terms of other injuries, Marco Silva has confirmed that Seamus Coleman is still out. However, he expects him to start training next week. That is the same with Andre Gomez. He expects Gomez to start training next week as well. However, he's still out for this game. He says that Jagielka has been training all week but is still not fit, and obviously no mention of James McCarthy as well, but he is still injured and we know that. So during that press conference, Marco Silva also entertained the decision to play Richarlison as a striker instead of a left midfielder. He didn't confirm or deny that he would do this. All as he said was that it's an option. He sees Richarlison as a striker, he sees him as an attacking player, but he hasn't made a decision yet, and he'll make that decision tomorrow. For me, I do think Richarlison will still play on the left. I just think that he sees enough of him on the left, and he hasn't seen enough of him up front and as a centre forward. Obviously he had that game for Brazil and he really did impress in that, but I don't think Marco Silva has seen enough in an Everton shirt for his liking to start him up front, and I think he's doing a good job, and he is doing a good job. He's doing a great job over on the left, so I don't see why he would change him. It's an option, it's giving him another option. Obviously if Cenk Tosun fails to perform again on Saturday, or Calvert-Lewin, or whoever plays up front for that matter, but I do think he'll start him on the left hand side as usual. So having said that, I've put my predicted lineup just up there for you. I've gone with Jordan Pickford in goal. Jordan Pickford obviously penning a new 6-year contract with Everton during the week on Wednesday, keeping him at the club until 2024, until he is 30 years old. He was very, very positive when speaking about the club in his press conference, and also his interview after. He stated that his performances for England, the fact that he even got the call up in the first place, was because he had had so much faith put into him by Everton, and the fact that he started last season and he played well last season, and he basically said that if he wasn't at Everton Football Club he wouldn't have been at the World Cup with England, so he's thanking Everton for that. He also confirmed that he would, don't look into this too much, but he did say that he'd still be here in the 6 years. I know there was a lot of controversy and a lot of sort of speculation around contracts these days in football, and we've seen players sign contracts with clubs and then leave within a 2-week period after signing the contract. Jordan Pickford did say that he looks to be at Everton in the 6 years, and he does look to become an Everton legend in the future, so all the faith in that and confidence in that. So, you know, brilliant news for Jordan Pickford, fantastic news for the football club. I've gone for Lucas Dean at left back, doing a brilliant job so far in keeping Leighton Baines out the team. I've gone for Michael Keane coming in at centre back, as well as Kurt Zouma. Obviously them two started against Arsenal and I think they played well. I think Michael Keane has become quite a good player for us this season, and even though he's had that injury, I think he started off well, and going off that Arsenal game, he seems to have come back in similar form to what he left before that injury, which is really positive news. And then I've gone for John Joe Kenny at right back. Obviously Seamus Coleman is still injured. John Joe Kenny is the obvious decision. It might be Mason Holgate, I'm not too sure, but for me, I've gone with John Joe Kenny because that's just who I think Marco Silva will go with. So in terms of midfield, I've gone with the Disagana Gay as per usual. Morgan Schneiderlin coming in for Tom Davies. Now that isn't for me a reflection on how Tom Davies played against Arsenal. I just think that Morgan Schneiderlin will come back in to give Tom Davies a little bit of a rest and a little bit of time out the limelight. Obviously he captained the team. Again, he got a lot of stick. I don't particularly think he was brilliant, but I don't think he was as bad as some people seem to think he was. But I still do think he'll be taking out the squad for this game. Obviously the three in front of them are the usual three, Richarlison on the left, Gylfi Sigurdsson on the right, and Theo Walcott on the right, sorry, and Gylfi Sigurdsson through the middle. Like I say, it's been sort of spoken about in today's press conference with Marco Silva, the possibility of Richarlison playing up front. I do still think he will play on the left. I think that Marco Silva fancies him more of a left midfielder, and he does offer a lot on the left there, so I think he'll play there. And it's pretty self-explanatory with Theo Walcott and Gylfi Sigurdsson. Obviously they've been good this season. Theo Walcott hasn't had an amazing start to the season, but we know what he can do. We know that he can produce when needed, so he takes his place there, and same with Gylfi Sigurdsson behind the striker. I've gone with Cenk Tosun up front for today's game. Obviously we've seen him dropped for Dominic Calvert-Lewin against Arsenal. I don't think Dominic Calvert-Lewin had the best of games, I'm sure you'll agree. He definitely had a lot of chances that he could have scored. One noticeably within the first 10 minutes where he goes one-on-one with Petr Cech and doesn't manage to slot. I think Tosun has had his time out the limelight. Now he's been given time to sort of rest and get his head back together, and I do think he will come back in, and obviously he is looking for his first goal of the season. And for me, once Cenk finds that first goal, I think we'll be flying, and he'll be flying, and he'll get many more after that as well. So for me, Cenk Tosun comes back in up front. Let me know your thoughts on the team. Let me know what you think, who you think will start. Do you think Richarlison will play up front and Bernard will come in on the left? That was spoke about today, obviously the importance of Bernard in that West Ham game when he come on and impressed. Or do you think Tosun will come back in? Do you think Calvert-Lewin will be given another chance? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. So a word on our opponents. Obviously Fulham Football Club spent a lot of time in the Premier League in the last sort of 2 decades. They were then relegated, spent a little bit of time in the lower leagues, and now they are back up. They haven't done perfectly this season, but they've done okay for themselves. Obviously we know they've got the likes of Jean-Michel Sarri, who was scouted by AC Milan and Chelsea and all these different clubs. Andre Shearer, who we know has played in the Premier League before and is a very good player. Alfie Mawson, who we know is a good centre half. They've got Ryan Sessegnon at left back, who is a really good player. And then Alexander Mitrovic, who is the outstanding one for me this season because he's keeping up with goals left, right and centre, and he's really up there with the players that are scoring the most goals this season, and he's definitely somebody that can hurt us. For me, as long as we keep a strong back line and we make sure that everything that gets put into our box is dealt with correctly and is seen out, and we make sure that the 2 centre halves, obviously Zuma and Keane, if it be them or whoever it be, make sure that the ball it doesn't go to doesn't get to Mitrovic, it doesn't end up at his feet, doesn't end up at his head, and we're always first to the ball, especially when it's in our area. And the midfield as well, we need to make sure that we can dictate that midfield and we are always constantly on the ball and we have the better the possession, so that we can spray balls to the likes of Sigurdsson, Richarlison, Walcott, so that they can hurt their defence, because it definitely can be hurt and they can definitely be damaged for them. But I think as long as we make sure that defensively we're strong and we keep a strong back line and we don't let Mitrovic get anything in the game, he is an aggressive player, he is going to attack, he is going to be hard to defend against, but I think Michael Keane and Kurt Zouma should be able to do that job quite well. So for me, like I said earlier, this is a must-win game for Everton. We need to get points on the board. At the end of the day, we've got 1 win this season in the Premier League against Southampton, and we've had games where we really should do better. The Huddersfield game, the West Ham game, 2 very poor performances. Like I said, the game against Arsenal was an improved performance and was very refreshing to see that, but we still didn't manage to get the win. So at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference. It's these games, the games against Fulham, that we need to get points on the board so that we can say, okay, we've won that game, let's not look at that, let's look forward and see how we can improve and really become a force and make sure we challenge the big teams. Because really, ideally, when you look at it, we could have beaten Arsenal, we could have been 2 or 3-0 up at half time, and that would have shook them, and they wouldn't have definitely have come back into that game. And I think that's how it should have been, but the fact that we didn't take our chances, Marco Silva highlighted it in today's press conference. He said basically we weren't good enough, we didn't take the chances we had, and that was it. That's why we lost the game. So I think the games against the lower teams that we should be taking our chances and we should be getting more chances, we definitely need to make sure we get points on the board and we win this game, and it's very possible. And I think if Cenk Tosun gets a goal, we'll see a much better performance out of him, and he'll start to gain more goals, and we'll see him actually come into his element, and we'll actually see the Tosun of towards the end of last season rather than the one we've seen so far this season. I do think Richarlison can definitely hurt them along with Theo Walcott, and it'll be exciting to see how them guys do there as well. I think Gylfi Sigurdsson plays a very important role in this game. He needs to make sure that he's on the ball and that he's looking forward and that he's playing balls forward and that he's really taking control of that midfield and taking control of that attacking position, because that's what he needs to focus on really. And yeah, hopefully we bag some goals and we manage to get the victory. So yeah, overall, and like I say, no game is an easy game, and I don't want to write Fulham off. They are a good team and they can definitely score, and they've done well to get back in the Premier League, but really when you look at it, we should be winning this game and we should be scoring a lot of goals against teams like Fulham. We can create the chances and we've got the players there that can score. I just think the confidence issue is quite apparent in the squad at the minute, and once we get a couple of goals under our belt, then I think we should be okay. And hopefully you're looking at your players like Richarlison, Walcott to get them goals and to sort of urge the rest of the team on to make sure we bring the 3 points home. Stay on my thoughts on the upcoming game against Fulham tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your guys' predicted starting 11. Do you think Tosun will come back in? Do you think Richarlison will be playing up front? Do you think Theo Walcott will play, given his performances haven't been brilliant this season? Do you think Tom Davies will keep a spot in the starting 11, or do you think, you know, Morgan Schneider will come in like I've said? Do you think Tom Davies will play next to Schneider? And obviously Adrissa Gay hasn't been perfect this season by any means, so he might be taken out the squad. It's all possible. Do you think Mason Holgate will come in over John Joe Kenny? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, do leave it a like. If you enjoyed the content, then do subscribe. I did cover all of Marco Silva's press conference over on our Twitter, which is there. It's at Mighty Blues YT. So if you want to keep up to date with any information regarding the football club and this channel as well, do go and follow us over on Twitter for general updates every day really on the football club, injuries, press conferences, things like that. So thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, do leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on the upcoming game, and do you think we will manage to get the 3 points? And I will see you guys in the match review on Monday, and hopefully we've managed to get the 3 points and it is a positive one, and we, you know, move on and we sort of go off the performance against Arsenal and we perform a little bit like that rather than the performances against Huddersfield and West Ham, which were dire. So hopefully we managed to get the victory. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.